Had I known that it would have been so cold inside of the studio this morning, I might have dressed a little differently. And so I'm now becoming the laughing stock because I'm usually the last one to complain about the temperature when it's cool in here.
Yeah.
But this morning, I have to call Sajay quick and fast. Yo, go up by two for me, no virgin, please. Because this is past chilly. Feeling kind of cold. And we look at Audley named long sleeve and we say John O'Star.
Oh, yeah, hold on. Them now hold me this morning.
Okay, let's get it started. This is Top of the Bridge Up and Go. All right, it's time for us now to go into our next feature, and that is
WTF.
What the Fact. I got it.
All right.
Putting sugar on a cut will, they say, make it heal faster.
See that?
Who said that? I think it's one man named Moses Morandu. But let me tell you the story. Too much sugar may be bad for the waistline, but it could help doctors heal the sick. New research shows folk medicine from Africa may hold the key to treating wounds that defy modern medicine. So there was a study that was conducted, and the study found that granulated sugar poured directly into bed sores, leg ulcers, and even amputations promote healing when antibiotics and other treatments have failed. The study, headed by Moses Morandu, a senior lecturer in adult nursing at Wolverhampton University, who grew up in Zimbabwe, where his father used sugar to heal wounds and reduce pain when he was a child. He says sugar now draws water from the wound into a dressing. Bacteria need water to survive, is what is generally accepted. And then now this accelerates the healing process or kickstarts it where progress has stalled. So, sounds believable, and the research bears it out. So Moses Morandu and his team are now contending or putting forward this as a fact, that putting sugar in a cut will make it heal faster. Have you ever tried that?
No, but I'm convinced from you say it'll come from Africa, we're good.
Just by
yeah, folk, right? Anything was hey, for Africa say it,
them no miss.
for Africa say it, let's go. Real thing.
I've never heard this one though.
No,
I mean,
me neither.
never heard this one. Putting sugar on a cut will make it heal faster. That is what what's this? Senior lecturer Moses Morandu and his team have deduced from studies conducted. And we're not gonna question it too much.
Nope.
We never tried though.
You never tried?
No. Well, me not.
You tried it? Oh.
What kind of sugar them say?
Yeah, granulated sugar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What?
All right, no problem.
Interesting one there.
Yeah, get them all. Yeah.
All right, Bridge Nation, here we're going now. Say no Skeng's back in the news, and his lawyers are now given access to raw footage from alleged airport altercation. Now, Skeng's legal defense team will be granted access to raw footage of an alleged altercation between the dancehall artist and Norman Manley International Airport authorities, and a judge ruled yesterday in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court in Halfway Tree. Now, the judge ruled that the raw footage should be made available to the Protocol DJ's lawyers before the next court date on March 9th, 2023. Now, Skeng is facing charges of disorderly conduct and resisting arrest in relation to an alleged incident that occurred at the Norman Manley International Airport in Kingston on June of 2022. Now, the court had the opportunity to view the security camera footage of the area where the alleged scuffle took place, and the determination was made that the raw footage of the entire incident should be made available to the defense. The judge determined that the footage was edited and made a request that the full raw footage be made available by the next court date. That was said by the DJ's high-profile attorney at law, Christopher Townsend. Now, Townsend said that the edited footage was not sufficient and that the defense team needed to see the footage where he was pepper sprayed. We didn't see that to make a determination as to whether the pepper spray was warranted. We maintained it was never warranted, and that was said by Townsend. Now, the 21-year-old artist, whose real name is Kevon Douglas, had his bail extended. His co-accused, Cara Wilson and Shaquille Kelly, also had their bail extended. Skeng was charged on May 24th for allegedly behaving in a disorderly manner during an argument with security personnel at Norman Manley International airport in Kingston. Of course, he pled not guilty, and this all happened when he was trying to board a flight to Trinidad, as we know. And yeah, we just hope that we'll get some answers, or Skeng's team gets some answers. This is interesting, though.
His lawyers want the information, the footage.
Yeah,
they should not be denied.
I don't see why. I don't see why they should be.
I guess the man is innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
All right, let's see how that one develops. Major Maija is a name that might ring a bell to some people. He's actually the son of Bounty Killer. And he's in the news because he has launched a GoFundMe account for his mother's medical treatment. So Major Maija, son of dancehall DJ Bounty Killer, has launched a GoFundMe to raise US $75,000 to $100,000 to spearhead costs for his mother's medical treatment after she was rendered paralyzed from a car crash. Maija, who is also a songwriter and artist, shared a photo of his mom, CJ, as she is affectionately known, with severe bruising and swelling across the left side of her face as she lay in a hospital bed. He said, and I quote, "Recently, I woke up to some of the worst news I could possibly receive. My mom had been involved in a devastating car accident that left both her legs broken in multiple places, her hips shattered, and her spine fractured, leaving her unable to walk." As of Monday night, we understand that some $13,015 US was already raised. The young man, Major Maija, said, "Some of you may know my mom, but if you don't, she's one of the most loving, caring, and supportive people I've come across in this lifetime. Her strength, resilience, and ability to overcome has always inspired me, as well as her constant efforts to bring people together and uplift those around her. Words cannot describe her pain or the shock that my family is in. I ask my friends, supporters, and anyone who may be reading this or hearing this as we're reading it here to help in any way that you can." So that is what I see where Stephen McGregor has in fact he said he's sending prayers, love, and blessings to Major Maija and his family also. So he's off to a fairly decent start.
Yeah, it's a strong start.
Over 13,000. That was up to Monday night, and he's trying to raise 75,000 to 100,000 for his mother's medical care. We wish him well,
of course,
and we'd also like to wish CJ, speedy recovery from those injuries sustained. All right, that's it for
Update.
And it's now time for the proverb of the day. After the proverb, we have the pet peeve of the morning. But first up, today's proverb.
What sweet nanny goat a go runny belly. What sweet nanny goat a go runny belly.
I like how that was said.
Yeah, I know
what
this
sweet nanny goat a go run
e-belly.
Not even,
Yeah,
e-belly. I true something,
Yeah.
And this is one that is quite popular here in Jamaica. Music was made to it and all kinds of stuff. So if you, I suspect most of my listeners would be familiar with it. The meaning, that which appears too good can hurt you.
Oh, okay.
So was sweet nanny goat, runny belly.
Runny belly.
Yeah, runny belly.
Runny belly. All right.
Yeah, so that is the proverb of the day.
Yeah.
Meaning again, that which appears too good can sometimes turn out to hurt you. All right, having moved away from the proverb, we now move right into our pet peeve. And what is that? Pet peeves are things that others do that you may find annoying, irritating, or even upsetting. And today we have one of our listeners who's going to share a pet peeve with us. Let's hear it.
Good morning, Bridge Nation. Up and go. You know what my biggest pet peeve is? When the taxi man in the car and the seatbelt not on and it can make the consistent beep, 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 beep sound. And may I look over upon the taxi man for say, you not hear that? You not hear the constant sound there? It not drive you up the wall? Yo, I'm a biggest pet peeve. Why is it you don't put on your seatbelt, sir? Why you going to make me have to sit down in this ride for the entire drive hearing this beeping sound? Biggest pet peeve.
Yeah.
Can be quite annoying, I suspect.
Yeah, any vehicle. Yeah, man. And that's why that's why it was made that way. You understand? Because it's supposed to annoy
it's
you
a reminder.
into.
Yeah. It's a reminder that you need to put it on.
What sweet me, the people that own the vehicle, because you have some of them that don't beat the entire time. So what sweet me sometimes, like, when the driver who me apart, I'll be like, yeah, man, the fret man, it's so lock off. Bro, you're supposed to put on your seatbelt. Why you not just make it lock off now? So the fret man, and around the corner where I go. But please, wear your seatbelt, people.
Yeah.
That's why it was invented.
Absolutely.
Sheesh.
And one of her listeners found it quite annoying. In fact, she calls it the biggest pet peeve. Yeah.
Gee.
If that is your experience right now, Mr. Driver, put on your seat belt.
Shit.
And don't annoy your passengers.
And you have some, exactly.
You got to read him enough from it.
Exactly. But you have some drivers, who them not on for them seatbelt, but cause the passenger side can beep as well. And but then we tell the passenger to put on them seatbelt for stop because it's annoying and
I
them
don't
thing
know.
there. I mean, it's like, yo.
Your seatbelt need to put on,
Yo,
Richie.
bro.
I don't know if this any of you get this feeling, right? But without the seatbelt, I feel just empty.
In danger.
Like
That's how I feel.
Really, something is missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going in the car,
I feel
because
scared.
the seatbelt actually just hugs you.
I'm terrified when I
feel like I'm not getting a hug. Yeah.
When I have it on, I'm scared.
And I mean, you were driving before it became law for us to wear a seatbelt.
Yeah.
But now that we've gotten so accustomed to
So
it.
custom, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Take a corner, you feel like you're tilt.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, hold on,
Drop
boss
out.
seat. What is?
Oh! Seatbelt.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. We're going to be talking to Peter Bunting in a moment's time. Now, a 2-week gun amnesty took effect on Saturday, November 5, following the approval of the Firearms Prohibition, Restriction, and Regulation Firearms Amnesty Order 2022 by the Senate on November 4. The amnesty is slated to end at midnight on Saturday, November 19. To give you a little bit more meat on the matter, the order, which will facilitate the amnesty, was moved by a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator the Honorable Matthew Samuda. It was approved by the House of Representatives on November 1. Senator Samuda said the amnesty is the last opportunity for those who hold or are in possession of illegal firearms or ammunition to avoid significant sentences and forms an important milestone in Jamaica's fight against illegal guns. He urged those possessing illegal firearms or ammunition to make full use of the amnesty. And there are a number of things that we want to discuss relating to this particular development. And so at this time we are joined by Mr. Peter Bunting, who is the Shadow Minister of National Security for the People's National Party. Good morning, Mr. Bunting, and welcome once again to Top of the Bridge Up and Go. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm very well, thank you. Good morning to your listeners as well.
Thank you so much for being here with us. Overall, give us a take on your views, really, on the current 2 weeks gun amnesty, Mr. Bunting. Your thoughts on it?
Well, first of all, we have had 1,329 murders in this country up to November 5th. This is almost 100 more than last year. And really, if I recall when I was minister, at this point, there was no year we would have had more than 1,000 murders at this point. And we're now at 1,329. So the government is struggling to find something to do to address what is happening. In that context, the Firearms Act was amended, or a new Firearms Act really was promulgated a few weeks ago, and it has now come into force. And one of the features is very draconian sentences for offenses under that act. And those sentences or penalties apply not just to illegal firearms, but also to holders who once had authorization, licensed firearm holders, but for example, who let their permit lapse without renewing it at the appropriate time. So this amnesty has, two groups of potential beneficiaries. One is those who are in possession of illegal firearms that were never registered, firearms and ammunition. It was never registered with the FLA and were never legitimately owned. those can be handed in at police stations. There's a second group, persons who, for whatever reason, illness, negligence on their part, they were overseas, they did not renew their license for firearm and ammunition on a timely basis. They can also go to the firearm licensing authority and get some relief. So these are the two potential groups of beneficiaries. Now, my concern and the concern of the opposition is that 2 weeks is a relatively short time. We're already well into the first week, and we believe that more could have been done to educate the public, educate the stakeholders. Attorneys have a significant role outlined in the order. The police, we're concerned about accountability. A illegal firearm can be handed in at any station across Jamaica. Up to Friday, when we debated this in the Senate, there were no instructions issued force-wide. I looked at the force orders on Friday. There was nothing in the force orders about the amnesty. So we could have issues of accountability. You know, a firearm handed in at a small outstation in Manchester or St. Elizabeth or Westmoreland could easily not end up not being accounted for. There is no receipt given. We don't know what the arrangements are in the force. Most police personnel I've spoken to up to the Friday evening or the weekend had no idea what the administrative arrangements were. So we have some concern.
It's not mandatory that that somebody who's turning in a gun then have, say, a lawyer or a minister of religion. It's not mandatory, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
The person could just show up at any police station across Jamaica and surrender the firearm.
Oh. Wow. The last week was a terrible week here as far as violence is concerned in this country. We lost about 35 lives. Are we trying to have conversations between the government and the opposition in terms of getting on top of this situation, this terrible situation of violence in our country?
We have had conversations, but I must tell you that, you know, we don't get a sense of urgency coming from the government. Early this year, I think it could have been January, February, certainly in the first quarter of this year, I think we had one meeting of the so-called Vale Royal talks, although they're no longer held at Vale Royal because, as you probably know, it's in a derelict state. But we had one session of those talks. Proposals were made, indications given to the government that we would be willing to work with them on passing specific legislation so long as it was constitutional. We haven't heard back from the government.
All right. Mr. Bunting, greetings. Shelz here. You mentioned the problem with accountability, in terms of the returning of firearms or the surrendering of firearms, I should say. Do you have any propositions to put forward, that can help in this regard as we look to control the whole movement of illegal firearms?
Well, there was, in the order itself, there was a regime set out for attorneys. If the firearm and ammunition was being surrendered through an attorney, it lists the obligations on the attorney to record this firearm, the type, the make, the serial number, etc., as best as could be determined by the attorney. And they have to maintain these records and inform the police. So we believe there should be similar arrangements at each police station. Because we've all lived in Jamaica. We know there have been, over the years, many allegations, for example, of so-called shootout and firearms being planted on victims of police fatal shootings. All of us, whether professional police or those who are just concerned with the public interest, would want to ensure that this doesn't end up unintentionally facilitating that type of activity. So this is why we say there must be proper accountability. But separate from that, we also feel that, more advanced public education. 2 weeks is a short window. And if you want to get the persons who are in possession of an illegal firearm, whether they are the criminal with an intention to perpetrate a crime or not. Remember, depending on the community that you live in Jamaica, somebody could give you a gun to lock, and then you may not have much choice in that. Or it could be a grandmother aware of a grandson who has this firearm and wants to remove that temptation or that, tool for him to get into trouble for the rest of his life. So there are opportunities in those sort of instances for persons to act, but they need to be educated. They need to understand the route they should follow. They could very well be putting their lives at risk, so you don't want to give them too short a window that they can't properly plan how they go and contact, whether the attorney, a pastor, a trusted person, to assist them in that process.
How long an extension are you thinking about?
Well, my own feeling is not so much the length of the window, but before you started, I think a week or two of vigorous public education would have been appropriate. As I said, we're already halfway through the first week, and, very few people know the details of it. I commend your program, for example, as one method to bring it to the attention of the public.
Yeah, thank you. So would you say the response has been sluggish, or certainly not overwhelming in terms of the response out there?
No, to the best of my knowledge, the last report I heard, no guns had been handed in at that point.
Wow.
But as I said, it's not surprising because, not much public education had been done ahead of time. When we asked the Minister, Senator Samuda, what was the target for the, for the amnesty, what sort of numbers of guns recovered would he consider a success? He said, well, just the announcement of the amnesty was a success in itself, which I thought was a rather low bar to set. It's difficult to predict, but at least you should have, to my mind, an objective. That, boy, we'd like to see 100 guns, 1,000 guns, 5,000 rounds of ammunition. You must have something in mind, I think, to help guide your actions.
You sure Minister Samuda wasn't just humoring you?
Well, the human me, but it's the public at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Parliament is a vehicle not just for legislators to speak to each other, but to speak to the general public.
Yeah. There's a bit of a gray area that I want to get your opinion on. If, say, a criminal is using a firearm in an armed robbery whilst this amnesty is on, how does that all pan out now? Will the amnesty impede in any way the work of the police?
No, the amnesty will. If you are found in possession of a weapon, an illegal weapon, by the police during this period of the amnesty would not apply to you. The amnesty only applies to persons who have proactively brought in the firearm, either directly to the police, the FLA, or through an attorney or intermediary.
Okay. All right. Mr. Peter Bunting, I want to thank you as well again for popping on the program and sharing your thoughts with us on this very topical issue. All the best to you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Good morning to our first caller. Welcome to the Secret Sound Game. Hello.
Hello, morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Me think is a plastic buckle up on steel.
A plastic bottle
Yeah.
rubbing on steel.
Yeah.
A plastic bottle rubbing on steel.
Who's calling?
Yes, man.
Fisher.
Fisher.
All right, Fisher.
Is that the best you could do? You
Something like that.
want to fix up the answer in any way, or that's what you got?
Something like that.
Something like that.
You should get nervous, you know.
That's so you think. All this. Sorry, Fisher.
Cha-cha.
Not right. Let's go in one more time. Hello. After 4 clues, you must be able to come up with the right answer. Welcome to the Secret Sound game. Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning and welcome. Who's calling? Talis. You almost tricked me this morning. Welcome,
How are you
Talis.
guys doing?
We're doing
great.
well.
Shelz, may I have you up?
Uh-oh.
Can't me.
Double did
I
it.
know I go on Talis. I know me though.
Oh.
I know me though, Talis. We are working on it though, Talis, but I know me.
Fix it up.
Say less.
Quick and
worries.
fast.
Alright.
I know.
You send my people come look for your people, you know?
Alright, no say 40, no say. Oh, we got dinner.
Alright then.
Alright, so what's your answer to all this?
I think it's like a delivery truck carrying steel and you use the plastic bottle to
To the what?
like make a marker on the like they put the plastic bottle on the end of a steel to show that something is there. You must be careful while driving behind it.
Oh. Oh, the noise coming, man. No.
I like that essay.
Give Talis what she deserved this morning.
Very self-shelf.
I never said that. Thank you for trying, Talis. Have a good day. Let's go in again. Good morning. Welcome to the Secret Sound game here on the Bridge 99 FM. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, sir. Who's calling?
Mike from Westmoreland.
Morris?
Mike.
Mike.
Oh, all right. Cool. Mike. Welcome, Mike.
Yes.
Your answer.
I think it's a Sky Juice man shaving ice and put it in a bag.
Mike, where in Westmoreland are you?
Caledonia. Between Witton and Dallascan.
We heard you. Listen. Never got that one before. Mike, what did you say it is?
A Sky Juice man shaving the ice and put it in a bag. Sky Juice.
And no doubt him have some nice strawberry and cherry and pineapple syrup and ginger.
Yeah.
Not true?
Yeah.
Yo. Mike. I feel like I want to call him Mighty Mike.
Yeah, man.
You know how long we don't get an answer like that, brethren? Woo! What you say, Westmoreland?
Yes.
How long did that take for that gift package to reach a Westmoreland?
Nah, reach. That'll take too long.
Yeah.
Reach
Little
quick.
over 2 hours.
Quick.
Yo, Mike, hold this youth.
John, oh Mike. Hush, Mike. I was one of them things.
Him gone.
Him cut. Cha-cha.
Sorry, Mike. Fisher didn't do it.
Oh, Mike,
Talis
so that-
didn't do it. Mike didn't do it. Good morning.
Morning.
Who is calling, sir?
Delroy.
Delroy again.
Yeah.
Delroy, is you want to win for you and your wife?
Yes, man.
Yeah, man.
Jaja.
Well, she must be impressed at how diligent you are and how, you know what I mean,
Well,
how hard you're trying.
Well, this is my last try, and I think it's like, you know, sandpaper. What sound I'm hearing? Sandpaper rubbing rust off iron, something like that.
Somebody using sandpaper to rub rust off metal, like an iron or grill or something like that.
Yeah, because you say it's outside and it's plastic.
Yeah,
But
outside
the
you have
plastic
plastic.
thing- Yeah, the plastic thing now would be the thing that you rub the sandpaper on.
Yeah,
That
man.
plastic thing there.
Yeah.
I would think that is something like that. Well, that's the sound. It's
So-
not a saw cutting plastic pipe, then it's something similar to that.
Well, I tell you, you're thinking because you're factored in plastic,
Everything.
you're factored in iron.
Yeah.
You mentioned the outside,
Dark truth.
and then you also factored in rubbing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I think you're doing a good job in terms of thinking through this thing.
Yeah.
You want to change anything about your answer?
Well, the only thing I would really like say is if you have a piece of plastic scraper, like it wouldn't be a plastic bottle, like a plastic scraper. That's the only thing I would change it for. But I think I'm gonna stick with the
Original answer.
Yeah, because it's either some I don't know.
You're in Eastern Kingston, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Not if you travel too far. Oddly. You hear the sound of the man describe? The song that, yeah, here's it. Here it is.
Yeah, that's like somebody rubbing off something with a sandpaper, you know? Like, like
Delroy, we rate you. You're
real
thinking.
man.
You're thinking man. You are a thinking man. When you work so hard at something, man, I mean, you deserve to get something. What will Delroy get this morning?
Delroy this I'm last one this. I'm last try.
So I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, Delroy, put in a little bit more work, brethren. Just a little bit more. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Morning, sir. Who's calling?
Joseph.
No.
Hey, well, I'm Joseph. Bless up. Welcome, man.
Yeah. Richie, I think that is the plastic would be washing brush. It's rubbing iron surface outside, trying to clean it again. Washing it.
Outside, plastic, iron, rubbing.
That is it.
He sounds like he factored all of those clues into his answer. But
It's that easy.
is it enough to take you to the winner's enclosure again, Joseph? Sorry, man. Sorry.
John.
No winner again. My God. That's it? Yeah, we have to. More calls are coming in, but we're out of time. My goodness. Still no winner?
Yeah.
When will we get a winner? Now, the Jamaica Association of Private Security, JAPS, is calling on the government and private security firms to honor the recent court ruling on employment classification for security guards. This call was made by the president of the Jamaica Association for Private Security, Teddylee Gray. So what happened is that just recently the court ruled that security guards engaged by Marksman Limited are in fact employees and not contract workers, and that the company should begin paying its portion of the National Housing Trust, statutory contributions, and so on immediately. The NHG challenged the private security firms in court following their refusal to accept the trust's declaration that the security guards they engaged are employees and not contract workers. And it is definitely something that is out there in the space. A lot of people are discussing it and is of interest, of course, to security guards and security guard companies and so on. We're joined this morning by the president of the Jamaica Association for Private Security, JAPS, Mr. Teddylee Gray. Good morning, Mr. Gray.
Greetings.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining
Good morning
us.
to the listeners.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us here on Top of the Bridge Up and Go. For those who may not know, Mr. Gray, could you sort of give us a wider perspective, explain what is the current concerns that security guards are in fact having?
All right, so basically, the Jamaica Association for Private Security, called JAPS, basically a lobby group now, basically trying to get registered and such like that. But we're basically talking about the rights of the workers. You know what I mean? The recent Supreme Court ruling, which was great. We always knew that we were employed, but the Supreme Court made it official that basically supposed to get what employees are getting, in terms, for example, sick leave, vacation leave with pay, and those stuff. And many other things in the industry that we're going to lobby for in the future.
Mm-hmm. Were those terms of employment, are they going to be retroactive, or it is from here onward?
All right, so for example, like the overtime now, if we start going to get to overtime, obviously it's going to be from September 23.
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be like from last year, obviously going to be impossible to check from. So with that, we've agreed that will be starting from September 23. But regards to persons working, for example, over 10 years or over 5 years or whatever, they're supposed to get their due in terms of their vacation, their vacation leave, and
Yeah.
So those stuff that's supposed to be retroactive.
Okay. There was a protest, I understand, yesterday. This is coming after the court ruling. What was the reason for the protest?
So the main reason of the protest was to basically try to get consultation with the government and also the head of the Jamaica Society for Industrial Security Mr. George Overton, and basically represent the security company managers. And so, want to at least have dialogue, discussion with them. But we sent a letter to the president Overton around from Saturday, gave him 24 hours. So we never really, truth be told, we never want to go out in the street. But we have to go out in the street because they don't want to hear our voice. So, and we're telling them we need them to at least give us some timeline, because I think any protest in the future will be bigger and I think very impactful. So just have dialogue with us.
All right, give thanks, Mr. Gray. Greetings once again. Shelz here. Now, other than JAPS, which was formed by you, and big up yourself and your team for all the work you've done so far. Is there any other union that security guards can seek support from?
Yeah, obviously I have the BITU. I heard him. I think he's the president or someone. And the way they were speaking, I would advise any of my members to join the BITU. No, I don't hear anything about the NWU. Once in the past, I had a discussion with a person from the NWU, and I wasn't getting a good talk,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man.
So the only person I'm seeing in the media is Mr. Vincent Morrison from Chase.
Right.
So...
Did you say that you said you're not encouraging your members to join any other union? Is that what you said?
No, that I said the BITU, that one. Because I heard an interview, and I heard an interview from I think he's the president, Gen Sec, and truth be told, I don't think he represents. Remember, then again, I'll give everybody freedom, and the security can join any union they want. Mm-hmm. We have 25 to at least 30,000, so obviously one union maybe cannot have so much. And security have the freedom to join a different unions, if they want. Some, we have a divide in the security industry. I'm in the middle. Some persons are for union, some people are not for union. If they get all their rights, for example, through this lobby group because it's nothing, we're not charging it, basically it's us.
Yeah.
And if we are getting the things done without, they have to, get this and that. I think some people maybe would rather that.
So there's no penalty, so to speak, if a member of JAPS decides to join another union. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Right now, any member who want to join another union can join a union. But we advise them.
Yeah.
We give them proper advice.
Okay. But it's not like they'll be expelled
any
from.
Security can join any union they want, but they have to know what we're not stopping anyone to say, hey, join JAPS or rape. No,
Right.
So people have the freedom.
So just to be clear, if they're a member of JAPS, they would not be expelled, so to speak, from your union if they decided to join another union. I get that. That is what you're saying.
If they register, for example, the membership yet we are basically getting registered. Now, if a person basically is a supporter, I have a lot of supporters, but a member, obviously membership maybe would be different. But we ain't going to expel anyone like that.
Okay.
Expelling. So,
Now, the ruling, I want to get back to that. It obviously had to do with marksman, but is it your view that it is an overall ruling that now dictates what should happen with other companies as well?
Yeah, it's an overall ruling for the security industry because if other company security decide to take other companies to court at the same rate, it's a precedent.
Mm-hmm.
The Supreme Court ruling on September 23rd is a precedent because most of these companies have the same identical contracts in terms of what security have to sign every year.
Mm-hmm.
They're identical. So the same thing going to the Supreme Court they will follow the precedent of justice back.
Yeah.
So, and if the security don't believe in the ruling, they should have appealed it to the Court of Appeal or the Privy Council. Mm-hmm. So obviously they know that they don't have a solid argument, or I don't know.
So there are over 30,000 security guards in the country. What is your membership like right now at JAPS?
No, as I said, we're a lobby. We're just a lobby stuff, lobby organization, lobby movement.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeking to get registered. At least in WhatsApp groups and Facebook, at least have over 1,800 followers on Facebook over, I think, the last count, over 200 members in the WhatsApp group and also. But we haven't formalized those stuff as yet.
Oh, I see.
So it's basically a lobby.
Right.
Lobby group right now.
How can security guards make contact with you if they'd like to be a part of what you're doing at JAPS?
So they can contact me personally. But first, Facebook, if you're on Facebook, the Jamaica Association for Private Security, just type in the name and you'll say come up and you can inbox me over there. Or either join the WhatsApp, I will give you the WhatsApp link to come in the group. Or you can email me at japs.movement@gmail.com if you want to email.
japs.movement@gmail.com.
It's japs.movement@gmail.com.
All right.
Okay.
So yes, go ahead.
Yeah. And another thing, I heard a lot of persons talking about they cannot maybe afford it and they are threatening guards that they maybe you're going to lose employment because if they were going to work the 8 hour or something like that, they cannot pay us. But this industry is a billion-dollar industry. They make billions of dollars annually out of profits to me. And they suppose they can pay the guards. And we're not buying any 60-hour work week argument. The international labor organization state that it's a 40-hour work week. So I don't know why some of these managers are still talking about that 60 hours they cannot use a 40-hour work week. And they're threatening guards that, guess what, if we're going to use a 40-hour work week, we're going to use 3 shifts. But so I'm going to ask them the question, what they rather. They want to have the 3 system where they have to basically employ more security and have more insurance on those security, or just pay us our overtime and the benefits. I think that is more cheaper, 2-shift system, 12 hours, instead of 3 8-hour shift
Shifts.
system. Yeah.
Well, we hope that there's no dislocation as far as the employment of security guards is concerned. And but this is a positive development, you'd see it as, in terms of the fact that security guards are now to be considered employees and not contract workers, which means they'll be able to access a lot of these benefits that generally employees access. That's a big development for you, isn't it?
Yes, sir. And your quote, I figure about the 30,000. And the private security regulation authority, PSRA, basically they are the governing body that ensure, basically deal with enforcement, which they ain't doing that. They basically said they have at least 25,000 renewed security officers. So obviously they are, they are up to date. And over 300 security companies. Now we don't need over 300 security companies. Obviously we have some illegal companies out there that aren't registered. The 30,000 figure, maybe we have even maybe 35,000 security, but guess what? Maybe some of them are don't have the private security license. You have to have a license to do this work, and some security working without a license. So that's why sometimes the industry is so hard to regulate. And the ruling to me is a big step in terms of even regulating the industry. Yes, we have to be realistic. Some persons will lose job in terms of, if you're a legal company, obviously going to be either you have to formalize yourself or you're going to be out of business. And those security will have to seek work with another company.
All right. Sounds like you're about to say as simple as that.
No.
All right. Mr. President, thank you very much. Teddylee Gray, thank you for talking with us this morning, and all the best. All right?
And can I say a thing before I leave?
Yes.
All right. So the main reason why these companies are calling for government to step in or set the example, basically the government is one of the largest contractor of security employment in the country. So that's one of the main reasons. But the other reason, which is the main reason for me, many companies are afraid. I believe some good companies out there want to do the right thing, but they're afraid to be undermined by, for example, the illegal companies or the other companies that will charge cheap rates. So that's why they're calling for a government. But I believe those companies, the brave companies or the good companies, need to step forward and basically let us protect your meaning. Either we security have to make a choice by joining the companies that are being compliant to the Supreme Court ruling or boycott the companies that, are in being compliant. So join the company, reward the companies that are deciding to honor the Supreme Court ruling, and they are just some seed.
Tough talking. All right. Thank you so much, Teddylee Gray. You've said a lot and a lot to process, I'm sure. But all the best to you, and a big up to all the security guards out there. Thank you so much. All right?
Respect.